Today is the first week of our Chatters and Tunes composition songwriting project. This is from vibrantmusicteaching.com. We're going to start with creating lyrics for a song, and then from the lyrics we will figure out the musical rhythm, and then once we have the rhythm we'll add melody, and once we have melody we'll add accompaniment. So today we're just going to start off by writing the lyrics, and we're only going to focus on 4 lines. If you want to go longer, you can, but you can just keep it simple with 4. It's basically like writing a poem. You don't have to rhyme. It's kind of nice if you have even 1 rhyme, but don't feel like you need to. The first thing that we're going to do is come up with a topic. So I want you to spend maybe a day or 2 deciding what you want to pick, because having a topic that interests you will make this process a lot more interesting and fun. So she provides a few ideas right here. You can write about something funny that happened to you, just something that might be going on in your life that maybe writing a song about it might be interesting for others, or it might be a good way to process it for yourself. Something that maybe could happen in the future. So maybe you dream of being an astronaut and you could write about that. You could write about a story. It could be something from history, or it could be something from your imagination. It could even be a story from a book or a TV show that you know, and you could retell it in your own words. A lot of songs are based off of a feeling. So something like anger, or love is probably the most common one. Excitement, you could write about your birthday's coming up and you can't wait for the party. You could write about something that maybe made you sad. I know there's a lot going on in people's lives right now with COVID, and sometimes expressing our feelings of sadness or grief through song can be a great way of processing that. All of those would be more from your point of view, but you could also write a song from someone else's point of view. So in this example, your class party as your teacher would describe it, but you could even write something from your dog's point of view, or anyone you know. It'd be kind of interesting to think, how did they see the world? A place is another great starting point, because you can use description. The 5 senses are a great way to start when you're describing a place. So what do you see? What do you hear? What do you smell? What do you taste? What do you feel? So it can be somewhere you've been, and that's probably the best, because that way you'll know all of those things. You'll really know what it's like to be there. But it could actually just be somewhere that you've heard about that you would maybe like to visit someday. I've always wanted to go to Italy, so I would write maybe about Italy and describe what I think it might be like. Or you could even write about a place in a book. Or, for that matter, not just a place in the book, but even a character in the book. Or maybe in the book there's some sort of magical creature like a unicorn or something, and you could write about that. And so there's a lot of ideas to get you started. Now, let's say you've taken a day, you figured out kind of maybe what you want, but now you're like getting stuck. Like, how do I actually start? What I usually suggest is starting off with a bit of a mind map. So this is probably best, just grab a blank piece of paper, but I'm just using the bottom of that page that we were just looking at. And you write whatever your central theme is going to be. I picked skiing because it's winter time in Canada and a lot of people go skiing. Okay, so skiing, then you can think about things that make you think of skiing. Okay, so maybe skiing makes you think of the cold, and then you could start to think about, okay, what does that mean? Maybe you could think of some descriptive words. So lots of winter clothing you have to wear to go skiing. You could think about the 5 senses. What does it feel like to be cold? Your nose hairs. You are conscious of them because they get little ice crystals in them sometimes. You could think about how the air looks when it's cold, but I guess that's one of the 5 senses. So maybe I'm going to get rid of that last little tick there for now. My brain's not thinking of any more ideas to do with the cold. Okay, the other thing I think of with skiing is speed. You're often going down a mountain pretty quickly. So you could think about, the rush of what that feels like, and maybe what do you see as you're going down, and again, it feels even colder when you're going down fast. You could think about, maybe afterwards you go for some hot chocolate in the ski lodge. Maybe the reason you love skiing is because it's time with family. So maybe you want to write a little bit about that. Or maybe it's a tradition of something that you guys like to do. Every winter you go down to Canmore or something and you go skiing there. So once you have some different ideas of what you could write about that have to do with skiing, then it's up to you to pick your favorites. We only have to write 4 lines, so you probably only want to pick 1 or 2 of those ideas. I've decided to focus on speed. So when you're writing the song, you don't have to write a long line. Your words don't have to start from one end of the page and go all the way to the end. They don't have to go all the way to there. Oops, that jumped out. Don't have to do that. They're going to be probably half the page if you're writing big. They'll be even smaller for me because I'm typing. So I'm going to say something like, okay, whizzing down the slope. Now, what do I see when I'm whizzing down the slope? Notice I'm using a good action word there too. That makes it a lot more interesting to the people listening. Okay, whizzing down the slope. Well, when I'm whizzing down it, everything goes by so fast. Everything's, a flash. Let's see. Trees in a blur. Because, everything's a flash. Another way of saying that is that it's in a blur. And then maybe I'm going so fast, hoping I don't crash, which rhymes with flash, but it doesn't have to. So that would be a 4-line poem that would work great for writing a song from. So that's all you have to do this week is come up with 4 lines. If you are inspired and you want to go further, great, but don't feel like you have to. And then we'll figure out the rhythm notes and create a melody from it next time. Have fun.